Hey, Stephanie here with Tuesday Tips. Have you ever felt misunderstood? Do people roll their eyes when you tell them what you do? Well, today's Tuesday Tips might just be for you then. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how you can go from intention to impact because it's all about the communication cycle. So, communication is the cornerstone of connection. And in business, especially, connection equals currency. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression before, but it is one that you may hear me say from time to time. And it really is true. If you're not able to connect with someone, they're not going to invest with you. And I don't care if you are curing cancer or or saving their marriage. If you're not able to convey that information and really connect with them, they're not going to invest with you. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of water. So, understanding the communication cycle is really vital to making a connection. And I would love to share my screen with you and talk to you about this. So, there are really 5 pieces to the communication cycle. The first one is your intention. And you are being the messenger. And then what you're going to do is you're going to code that intention or that message based on your field of experience. And that's really important because we all have different experiences in this lifetime. Then comes the channel. This is how we are going to convey that message to somebody. Now, this can be speaking, writing, visual, right? And once it comes within their purview, they need to decode it. And they're going to decode it based on their field of experience. And then it's what they come to understand. So if you are going to, if you've ever dealt with a toddler or a young child, like somebody before the age of 5, you are going to talk to them in a way that's much different than the way you would speak to, say, an 8 or a 9-year-old. Let's say you would like them to clean their room. The way you would do it with someone who's 4 or 5 is much different than the way you're going to do it with someone who's 8 or 9, or someone who's 15 or 16, or someone who's 24, right? You are going to code that message, your intention, based on their experience. Now, once we enter adulthood, we tend to forget that. We tend to say, oh, well, maybe they haven't had that experience yet. Because we feel like the playing field is level, but it really isn't. So you really need to understand who you're speaking to so that you can really clarify that message. And asking those clarifying questions can be so important. I'd love for you to think of a time in the last week or two where maybe you felt like your message wasn't conveyed properly. I can definitely think of a time. That happened to me just 2 days ago. And as soon as I got off the call with this person, I was like, I wish I would have asked more clarifying questions. I wish I would have known this, or I wish I would have known that more. I wish, I could have gone deeper here. And I'm like, okay, so the next time I get on the phone with that person, I'm going to ask them, can I revisit this with you? Because I'd love to learn more about it. So, however you're communicating with your community, however you're trying to connect with people, think about one person that you want to connect with, whether it's a one-on-one or you're posting on social media or whatever, however you are conveying your message. Think about that communication cycle and how it might be received. Because if you want clarity and if you want connection, you really need to be clear and try to understand their field of experience and what you might need to say in order to understand that, right? If I was just thinking it's around tax time, people are starting to, it's January. People are starting to think about taxes here in the United States, getting their W-2s and things. The way a CPA, if you've never worked with a certified public accountant, the way they talk to you would be very different than the way they talk to a bookkeeper. And if they don't, then you're going to be really confused and you're not going to want to talk to them. Like, what are you talking about? I don't do QuickBooks. I don't know what a profit and loss statement is. And the way they speak to you as their client, if they start asking you all of these questions and you start getting overwhelmed, you're going to be like, whoa, and I don't want to work with you. But if they talk to you like a human being and like, okay, do you have a bookkeeping system? How are you keeping your books? Do you have these things? If they start to ask you those kinds of questions, then they can help direct you. And someone who's going to make the investment in you and ask those clarifying questions, you're much more likely to work with, right? So put yourself in the other person's shoes. It doesn't matter if you're sending an email, writing a post, doing a video, whatever it is, put yourself in the other person's shoes and say to yourself, okay, this is what I want to convey. This is how I'd like to convey it. But how are they going to receive it? And what do I need to do, or what questions do I need to ask to make sure that my message is being conveyed with clarity? So that is my Tuesday tip. If you're having a challenge around this or anything else when it comes to your business, please take me up on a free 30-minute business breakthrough session. In this breakthrough session, it's a chance for you and I to sit down one-on-one. We'll go over what your greatest challenge is, what's in the way of that, and I'm going to give you my hottest tip or mini plan to kind of get you over the hump, and we'll see if it's fit to do more work together. You can learn more about that in the description, and I look forward to sitting down on one-on-one with you and getting you some more support. Until that time, wishing you much success.